My name is Kelby. I grew up in a small town in Leroy, Illinois. Kind of before college, I had kind of more of an open mind about most political things. But what really got me was Richard Sullivan's class in sociology, the 106 class. It was the big lecture hall, and he threw out great ideas, and then I was right up there trying to challenge him. And most classes I didn't really speak much, but his I was just always trying to stay after class and figure out where this guy's coming from with things. I hadn't heard his ideas before. And then through his class, I got turned on a little bit to the idea of socialism, which I quickly went from there to just anarchism, and kind of more of the libertarian side of anarchism. And started reading Murray Bookchin and other authors about anarchism. And then out of nowhere there was this flyer that my roommate had showed me that was for a anarchism documentary that was being shown at the college. And so I went there and met some really nice people who were involved in a common action free school. And then from there I started going to all the meetings and was a participant until it went away for a while. Also, I kind of did more of nonprofit work simultaneously while going to college. And so a lot of that work was trying to empower people in low-income communities. So I got to experience the day-to-day experience that they go through because I worked at a convenience store in kind of the the lower income area of town in Bloomington, which is nothing. It's not bad, but there was a lot of people who came in day out with a lot of struggle, and then all of a sudden this thing called Occupy happened, and I think I heard about it through a friend asking if I had seen the first march they did in New York, and then I YouTubed that later, and knew a couple people from the Common Action Free School, and through the colleges, and just IPA actually. Basically, that people were all in the right place at the right time, and we ended up creating an Occupy movement here in Bloomington, and it started in one of our friends' living rooms, and then we put out the Facebook, social media, all of that in town, and then next week we had a circle of about 100 people all showing up to try to join the Occupy movement and start it and work together. Like I said, I came from a really small town. I wasn't into sports, wasn't into cars, and not a lot of things everybody else was into. But I did have a computer at a young age, and I was on Napster when that was still Napster and free. And I got into message boards and instant messaging at a very, very young age, and through that I kind of found people who I really enjoyed spending time talking to, and then they turned me on to a couple of, I'd say, influential books, more or less, and just music in general, and I think just the media itself pushed my ideas of what life is, especially when all around me was just a small town feel. And then one of the things that I was told to read was a book called Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, and I think that was probably one of the first books I read that really opened up my my world to outside of Leroy, Illinois. So yeah, I had a close friend that told me to read it, and they repeatedly told me it's gonna sound really stupid at first, and you're not gonna want to read it, but just trust me, get through it, and we'll talk about it and that type of deal. And it was about a guy who can telepathically talk to a gorilla behind a cage. Again, it's a very strange intro, but it's actually a fairly influential book, and I think a lot of schools that have a higher education, a lot of Montessori schools, they actually have this book in their curriculum, and it's caught a lot of attention in the past 10 years, I think. It was actually a Pearl Jam album. dedicated to it. But anyway, it's yeah, I think again it was that just the pressure of a friend, someone close to that I talked to overnight, and just saying like, this is a really good book, and I was like, okay, I read it, and then the ideas that I latched on was partially. I mean, it was partially the sense that we don't really have control, but there are things that we can be doing. As opposed to before, I just felt like that we didn't have control and there's nothing we could do. So, I mean, just to sum that up, I guess.
Yeah.